Hi, Kristiana.
Hi.
So the last time we talked, your friend had recently passed away in a different country, and at the time, you weren't sure if it was a suicide or if it was an accident. And you talked about being really sad and confused, and you were going to reach out to his other really close friends and his sister to find out more information and about the funeral services and things like that. So how has it gone since we last talked?
It has gone all right. I found out from his sister that he mixed alcohol. I don't know how much alcohol, but he mixed alcohol with his antidepressants.
Oh.
And he was rushed to the ER. He was in ICU. And then he was stable for a while, like stable conditions, and then he finally went into cardiac arrest.
Okay.
And then was being tried to being resuscitated.
Okay.
For an hour and a half, and then they finally just gave up.
Oh.
And I know the sister was having a really hard time trying to cope with the whole burying him and stuff, and she wished that I would live closer because he was she knew about me being such a close friend to him. And
yeah. So how did that make you feel, knowing that you couldn't be there?
It made me feel kind of really bad.
Bad.
Yeah, I joked about having a wake service. Brandon and I joked about this back in October.
Okay.
That if Brandon would ever die, that at his wake we would project this picture on at his wake, and when I was scrolling back through our conversation, I found that, and I was just laughing and crying at the same time because it was too soon.
Yeah. So it sounds like on one hand you're looking back and seeing fond and happy memories of him. Because it sounds like he was a pretty joyous person to talk to, but yet on the other hand you're profoundly sad.
Yeah.
For him being gone. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm also mad at him still a little bit. I'm more so just sad now.
Yeah.
I used to be going through in the beginning when I talked to my pastor, that I was really, really mad at him. I would write angry, or I would want to write angry letters at him and just crumple them up and stuff.
So this is since he passed, you've
been
angry with him.
Yeah.
So you miss him, but you're still angry with him.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you had talked earlier, when we had talked before, about just being really lonely without him being in your life.
Yeah.
Is that still a feeling that you're struggling with?
Yeah, it's getting, I don't want to say better, but I reached out to his best friend, Cameron, and his best friend, Cameron, is really friendly like him, like Brandon, and Brandon and Cameron were are identical in personalities and stuff. So they, when I talk to Cameron, it's almost like I'm talking to Brandon. So
it sounds like almost that must comfort you in some ways. Is
Yeah.
that accurate?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. I kind of know how you feel, because I had a sister who committed suicide, so I can understand the loneliness and the anger and the sadness, and that's hard.
Yeah, it's tough, and hopefully time will pass. When time passes, it'll get easier. When my grandpa passed away, it took 3 years, at least 3 years, for me to talk about the situation without crying. So hopefully this, like, I have a kind of an idea of how long it's going to take for me to feel better.
Tell me about if you have a support structure in this area that helps you, because your friend lived out of the country.
Yeah.
From what I remember.
Cameron is also out of the country, and so is his sister, but my mom knew about it, like my friendship with him, and then my dad. And when when Brandon passed away, I told my mom, my dad, and my grandma and my aunt, because my grandma and my aunt knew about him, and they were talking to him actually.
Online?
Yeah, like on Skype or whatever,
Okay.
like Facebook messaging. It was so funny, and
that must be a good memory.
Yeah, and my grandma was also sad and mad at Brandon and was like, that was selfish of him, and like out of anger she said that. But
so it sounds like you're trying to be strong, but you're still struggling with the sadness, you know, I want you to really focus on that strength, and if you would like, I could give you some referrals to some support groups for suicide, if that would be helpful for you, if you would like that. Would that be okay?
Yep.
Okay. Good. And the funeral services have already happened, from what I remember.
Yep. And I believe, like, I saw pictures of, like, where he was buried, and it had, like, an I Heart You on it, and, like, where he was buried, and it looked very nice, like, how it was, and it was tough to look at, but it was beautiful.
Yeah. So how do you think you'll get through this next week before we can talk again? What's your plan?
I think just talking to Cameron, and like Cameron and I always reminisce, whatever. We always talk about Brandon and like the good memories and stuff, and
good memories.
And since Cameron has an iPhone, we can iMessage, and even because Brandon had an Android, we couldn't like text because of data, or not data, but like different countries and rates and
roaming charges. Okay.
So, but now that Cameron has an iPhone, we can like message that way, and it's easier to communicate, and I can get a hold of him easy if I need to. And
that's good. So you do know that your friend committed suicide from what the coroner said. You're still going to be reaching out to your support system to try to help you through your grief, and then possibly you'll attend one of the support groups that I can give you a referral for this next week until we can meet again.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thanks.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No.
Okay.